They repealed the EPA's endangerment finding. That's the rule that said pollution endangers human life.
Okay, so the endangerment finding, that's the rule that says pollution endangers human life. That is such a vague statement. The endangerment finding ruled that CO2 endangered human life, which is a huge government overreach because CO2 is not a pollutant in the way that lead or sulfur dioxide and all these other pollutants are. It doesn't have an immediate negative impact on human health. Case in point, I am exhaling CO2 right now at 40,000 parts per million when I exhale. In our atmosphere, it is a trace gas that is only 420 parts per million. So this idea that CO2 is a pollutant that endangers human life is on shoddy science. Let's continue.
And they did all of this after receiving hundreds of millions from fossil fuel executives who wanted fewer rules. They privatized the profits, we socialize the damage. They get richer, we get sicker.
Okay, this black and white narrative that the evil fossil fuel industry is paying off the government to make this decision is ridiculous. This is a common sense decision because regulating CO2 has been a huge drain economically because it's led to all these pointless regulations that have not made us safer, but they've made everything more expensive. And again, what you say, we get richer and they get richer, we socialize the problems. Know what makes us richer? Fossil fuels, you guys. I hate to break it to you, but fossil fuels is a thing that's made us so prosperous and rich in the past 100 years. And this idea that fossil fuel executives are just hoarding all their money when really they're just providing a service for us that we really want, which is fossil fuels, oil, coal, natural gas, which power 80% of our energy system. The idea that fossil fuels don't also make us rich is ridiculous.
And when climate disasters do hit, billionaires don't suffer the way working families do. They have backup homes, private insurance, generators, lobbyists.
Okay. The idea also that fossil fuels only help the rich is ridiculous because it helps us, and actually areas with more access to fossil fuels and more reliable energy and wealthier people, you're more resilient to extreme weather events than if you are in a very poor region that does not have access to that. Just think about it logically for a few seconds. If you're living in Africa and you don't have access to electricity, you maybe live in a mud hut that doesn't have foundation. When a storm hits, you're going to be much more vulnerable to losing everything, and it may be very dangerous for you. If you don't have access to modern agriculture, which is foundationally made possible by fossil fuels that power the tractors and provide the fertilizer. If you don't have access to all of that modern agriculture, you're more susceptible to drought. So everywhere that's wealthier is less susceptible to extreme weather events. And so punishing the form of energy, which is 80% of our energy mix, fossil fuels, in the name of making us less in the name of what? Protecting poor people? It's exactly the opposite, actually. The more access to fossil fuels you have, the more wealthy you are and the more resilient you are.
Wondering why your insurance is so expensive? Why your kid needs an inhaler? Why it's 105 degrees in October? Why your groceries spike after droughts? It's because they're letting corporations pollute more so the CEOs can make more money and you pay the price in higher bills and worse health.
No. Actually, we pay the price because of all the ridiculous bureaucracy that this endangerment finding put on us and made our bills higher. And also the government mandated transition to green energy has made our bills higher. And even if you see things like, okay, we're having more heat waves because of climate change, the thing that makes us more resilient is access to cheap, abundant, reliable energy so we can have air conditioning, so we can continue to live our lives and thrive in the way that we do best, which is with the fossil fuels that power our lives. This is such black and white thinking that's vilifying the thing that makes our lives possible. And they're also conflating that CO2 emissions, which again, I'm exhaling right now, is the same thing as smog. And the problem is that we've already tackled smog. We passed the Clean Air Act in 1964, which led to like a big decrease in all the things you're worried about that lead to actually impacting human health. Like we took lead out of gas, right? We desmogged our factories back then, and then this endangerment finding that came in 2009 just extended that from like pollutants that actually harm us to CO2, which is a naturally occurring gas. It was a huge government overreach that's made our lives more expensive. So she's conflating a lot of things.
More pollution means more asthma attacks. More extreme weather means higher insurance premiums.
So the more extreme weather thing is also really on shaky ground, because we have not seen extreme weather go up across the globe. And if you don't believe me, I can show you the IPCC, where in this chart right here, I'm just going to cover the whole screen with it. See, when you look at things like hurricanes, droughts, whatever, like you can pause and look. All of those boxes are white because they have not seen an increase. The only thing they've seen an increase in is more heat. And I've talked about this before, but heat is less dangerous than cold. So we are having 10x more people die from cold than from heat. So although we're seeing this minor increase in heat, I do not believe, and you can make a very rational case that it's not bad for human health compared to if we had more extreme cold increasing.
More heat waves mean higher utility bills, and more disasters mean higher taxes for recovery. Billionaires get deregulation, and you get wildfire smoke.
I'm so sick of this, like billionaires get deregulation. Actually, we all get deregulation. When things are deregulated, your car is less expensive. Your electricity is less expensive. We're spending money on things that actually work instead of all these layers of red tape and bureaucracy that have made our lives more expensive and annoying. Okay, so this woman, I'm sorry. This is a misinformation video, and you should not buy anything this woman is selling. I'm sure she's lovely. I would love to talk to you, honey, but like, you are spreading misinformation.